There's an ancient saying that's been passed down for millions of years: family is everything. But if your family happens to possess the power to alter the fate of the entire universe every morning over a sip of morning tea, that family becomes a complete disaster. Rudra, how many times have I told you to wake up by 8 in the morning? Make your bed and clean your room. Mom's voice pierced right through my eardrums. Rudra, buried my face deep under my pillow. Come on, just 5 more minutes of sleep. But as I squeezed the pillow tighter, a glowing, translucent holographic screen popped up right before my eyes. Notification: Procrastination Overlord System activated. Current task: clean your bedroom, chore. Action taken: ignored warning and went back to sleep. Buff triggered: Lazy Bastard's Fortitude, plus 500% physical defense, plus 300% mana regeneration per hour slept. Note: keep delaying. The longer you procrastinate, the closer you get to celestial rank. I dismissed the screen with a faint smirk. Yep, this was my true talent. The rest of the world works hard, sweating blood to level up. And me? The more I run away from work, the more overpowered my system makes me. That's why my title is the Procrastination Overlord. But having a god-level system wasn't the main issue. The problem was that I wasn't the only god living in this house. Crackle. Bang. The floor beneath the entire house violently shuddered. Good morning. Dad had probably tried fixing some old piece of furniture in the living room again. Stretching lazily, I got out of bed, hitched up my pajamas, and stepped out of my room. The living room scene was, as usual, looking like a final boss fight straight out of a fantasy anime. Dad stood in the middle of the hall holding a tiny screwdriver and a half-broken wooden chair. A golden, divine aura radiated around him, and his eyes had transformed into glowing rune symbols. Dad's system, DIY God of Creation. Ah, man, it was just a loose chair leg, Dad murmured gloomily, wearing the harmless, innocent expression of a sweet uncle. Except the chair in his hand wasn't made of wood anymore. It was now encased in an impenetrable god-tier defensive barrier that could probably withstand a direct hit from a nuclear bomb without taking a single scratch. Sunil, how many times have I told you not to cast your creation magic on the house furniture? Mom emerged from the kitchen holding a rolling pin. But it wasn't just any ordinary rolling pin, it was crackling with surging blue cosmic energy. Mom's system, Goddess of Domestic Warfare. Mom swung the rolling pin through the air and pointed it directly at a tiny spiderweb in the corner of the room. Swoosh! A blinding white beam shot out and blasted the spiderweb. Forget the web, every trace of negative energy, cosmic dust, and even ancient sins present in that spot were instantly erased from existence. Look! That is how you clean. Mom declared proudly. I just purged the entire neighborhood's miasma too. The poleo I'm making for lunch today will permanently boost all 3 of your base stats by plus 20%. Now sit down quietly and eat. Oh wow, Mom. You can make anyone immortal with your poleo, but what about my Instagram followers? That voice belonged to my younger sister, Ria. She was lounging on the sofa with her legs kicked up, casually scrolling through her phone. Sister's system, Gossip and Whispers Oracle. Ria tapped her screen once, and suddenly, thousands of tiny, glowing whispering butterflies manifested above her head. Guess what, Mom? Ria sneered with a mischievous grin. Uncle Varma next door didn't go to work today. His secret system says he's pretending to be sick just to stay home and play video games. Meanwhile, his wife thinks he's in an important business meeting. Mom's eyes widened as she gripped her broom tightly. Really? I'm going over right now to tell Varmaji's wife. That is a massive sin. Ria, can't you ever keep your mouth shut? I let out a heavy sigh and sat down at the dining table. Is it really necessary to expose people's secrets first thing in the morning? Ria pulled a face at me. You don't get to talk, Rudra. It's 10 a.m. and you're still in your pajamas. Is your system turning you into the god of laziness or something? It's called the Procrastination Overlord, okay? I declared with pride. And besides, as long as I don't clean my room, my ultimate skills cooldown keeps reducing. So technically, I am grinding. Ding dong. The doorbell rang. Everyone froze for a second. The entire hall went dead silent. Who could that be at this hour? Dad asked, setting his divine screwdriver down. Ria's butterflies instantly fluttered in the air, and the smile faded from her face. Wait, that's no normal delivery guy. 3 high-level rank S hunters and an out-of-town demon cultist are standing at our front door. Mom gripped her rolling pin tightly, a dangerous glint flashing in her eyes like a true goddess of warfare. Tell them if they ruin my doormat, I will wipe out their entire clan. Dad put the chair down. I'll activate the barrier. No one will be able to take a single step inside this house. I just sat there quietly, taking a lazy bite out of an apple. System alert, enemy threat detected at front door. Current objective, go outside and fight the intruders. Procrastination protocol, ignore the fight and finish your breakfast. Reward for ignoring, plus 10,000 attack power, unlocks divine skill, not my problem. I took another crunch out of my apple and said nonchalantly, guys, chill out. Let them come in, at least let me finish my breakfast first. The rank S hunters standing outside had absolutely no idea that they were knocking on the door of a total nightmare, a house where every single family member was a walking, talking world-ending boss. Boom! In a single instant, the wooden front door was blown into two pieces. Smoke, sparks, and dark demonic fumes spewed into the living room. Four figures stood at the entrance. At the front was a man wielding a terrifying skull staff, his eyes glowing red. It was none other than the notorious out-of-town rank S demon cultist, Malachar. Standing right behind him were three top-tier rank S mercenary hunters. Bahahaha! Malachar let out an archetypal villainous laugh. So this is the ordinary-looking house where we detected those bizarre energy fluctuations? Poor, helpless citizens. You have no choice but to surrender. Hey! My door! Mom shouted, cutting him off mid-sentence. The rolling pin in Mom's hand was now glowing with pure cosmic light. Her eyes burned with a fury fierce enough to make even rank S hunters break into a cold sweat. Sunil! Mom barked at Dad. Didn't you say you'd install a solid wood lock on the door yesterday? Look at that. These thugs just ruined my freshly painted wall, too. Malachar's mind went blank. Is this woman worrying about the paint on her door instead of being terrified? Silence, foolish woman. Malachar raised his staff high into the air. I am the supreme leader of the shadow cult. Take one step closer and I will. Excuse me, sir, step aside for a moment, Dad interrupted, stepping in between us while casually holding a simple screwdriver. Dad's system, DIY God of Creation. Skill activated, structural repair and instant reinforcement *********. Dad gave the floor a light tap with the tip of his screwdriver. Whirr! Instantly, glowing golden runes etched themselves across the walls. The shattered door snapped back together as if time had reversed, and a heavy, multi-layered divine barrier slammed down around Malachar and his crew. The heavy gravitational force crushed down so hard that all three rank S bodyguards collapsed face-first onto the floor. The sound of their bones cracking echoed through the room. What on earth is this? Malachar gasped, struggling to breathe. My level 85 shadow magic, it's disabled? I just set up a small barrier so dust doesn't fly inside, Dad said with an innocent smile. By the way, looks like there's a loose screw on your staff. Here, let me fix that for you. Dad, don't fix his staff. Ria piped up from the sofa while snapping a selfie. Sister's system, gossip and whispers oracle. Ria glanced at her screen and flashed an evil grin. Guess what, Mom? This guy Malachar isn't even a real cult leader. He stole money from his boss and ran away here. Oh, and that black potion in his pocket? It's not poison, it's a hair loss treatment. Malachar's face turned bright red, then yellow, and finally pale white. How do you know all that? That's top secret. My butterflies know everything, Uncle, Ria teased, gently blowing away a fluttering, whispering butterfly from her fingertip. Meanwhile, I was sitting casually at the dining table, finishing up my breakfast. Another floating box popped up in front of my face. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Current task, defeat the intruders before they ruin the floor. Action taken, continued eating paratha with pickle. Buff triggered, 0 effort supremacy, all stats multiplied by x 500 for the next 24 hours. Reward, title unlocked, Master of Indifference. Rudra. Mom snapped, brandishing her rolling pin toward me. Are you just going to sit there and stuff your face? Throw these guests out. I need to mop the floor. I let out a long sigh. Man, why do they make me work so early in the morning? I stood up from my chair. Dressed in my comfy pajamas and holding a half-eaten paratha in one hand, I walked over and stood right in front of Malachar. Look, man, I said, letting out a lazy yawn. You picked the wrong house to break into. My dad is a god-tier architect, my mom is a cosmic sweeper, my sister knows more secrets than the CIA, and me. I gave Malachar a light tap on his shoulder. Divine skill activated, not my problem, 1% power. Boom. Without any dramatic visual magic or flashy light show, the space-time continuum around Malachar and the three rank S hunters glitched violently. All of their dark magic, energy, and weapons vanished in the blink of an eye, as if someone had simply pressed delete on their existence in reality. Thud. All four of them landed squarely inside the big garbage dumpster outside the house, stacked neatly and cleanly. All right, the trash has been thrown out, I said, dusting off my hands before heading back to sit at the dining table. Mom checked the hall floor, not a single speck of dirt remained. Good. Now drink your milk quietly. Dad inspected the chair leg. The barrier still feels a bit weak. Maybe I should extend realm protection over the entire neighborhood. Ria uploaded a story on her phone, uninvited guests handled in 30 seconds. #family goals #don't mess with us. Outside, slumped inside the smelly garbage dumpster, the rank S hunters finally realized the terrifying truth. This wasn't an ordinary family. This was the main headquarters of the world's most dangerous bosses, all living under one roof. We had barely finished breakfast when a red emergency alert suddenly began flashing across the TV screen. Fear was palpable in the news anchor's voice. Breaking news. A celestial-class power surge was just detected in the Azad Nagar area. The Hunter Association's magic satellites have crashed. All rank S hunters have been placed on high alert. Dad took a calm sip of his tea while watching the news, remarking with a completely innocent face, "Oh dear, looks like when I set up that barrier on the front door this morning, a tiny bit of energy leaked out." "I told you so, Sunil," Mom shouted from the kitchen. "It's because of this bad habit of yours that all the electric meters in the neighborhood keep blowing up." Before Dad could offer any excuses, a convoy of 10 to 12 black armored SUVs screeched to a halt right outside our house. Blaring sirens echoed through the entire lane. Instead of the doorbell ringing, a booming voice bellowed over a loudspeaker. "Attention everyone inside the house. Come out with your hands up. We are from India's National Hunter Association. A world-ending mana level has been detected originating from your home." Riya peeked out the window, tapping away on her phone. Whoa! This time, Chief Director Vikram Rathore himself showed up. He brought 20 elite hunters along with their top mana measuring device. Sister's System, Gossip and Whispers Oracle. "Guess what, Rudra?" Riya giggled with a mischievous smile. "Director Vikram didn't actually come here to arrest us. He's been suffering from severe constipation since this morning and is just throwing a huge drama to look like a hero in front of his boss." I stretched lazily at the dining table. "Riya, why do you have a full database on everyone's private life?" "Knowledge is power, bro," Riya declared proudly. Just then, a heavy knock rattled the door. Director Vikram stepped inside himself, flanked by his bodyguards and a scientist hovering a high-tech mana detector machine behind him. Vikram adopted a strictly authoritative tone. "We are declaring this house an immediate quarantine zone. Where is the monster whose mana readout crossed 999,999? Dad offered a warm smile, gesturing toward the door with his screwdriver. "Ah, Director sir. The monster is lying outside in the garbage dumpster. You can take him with you if you like. Would you care for some tea? In the garbage dumpster?" Vikram blinked, turning to look outside where Rank S Malakar and his mercenaries were still knocked out cold in the trash. The scientist suddenly stared at his device, sweating bullets. "See Chief. The device's needle is about to explode. The energy source, it's not that uncle." The scientist swung the device toward Mom, who was casually standing there holding a mop. "Readout, 4,500,000 mana, class, Goddess of Warfare." The scientist nearly dropped the device. Cold sweat poured down his face. "See Chief, this Andy is a walking, talking nuclear warhead." Then the device scanned Dad. "Readout, 8,900,000 mana, class, Creation Deity." Director Vikram Rathore's knees buckled. He was one of the most powerful hunters in the entire country, but the atmosphere inside this house was on a whole different dimension. Every single piece of furniture here had been upgraded into a divine artifact. What kind of family is this?" Vikram stammered. That's when the scientist aimed the device toward the sofa, at me. I was lying there in my pajamas with my eyes closed, desperately trying to catch a nap. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Current task, answer the National Association's questions. Action taken, pretended to be asleep to avoid talking. Buff triggered, Absolute Silence Aura, suppresses all hostiles' mana to 0%. Freeze. In a fraction of a second, the magic mana inside Director Vikram and all 20 elite hunters completely vanished. It felt as if someone had slammed the gravitational weight of the entire planet onto their shoulders. Every single one of them dropped to their knees on the floor. "And my mana, it disappeared?" Vikram stared at me in sheer horror. I slowly opened one eye and said casually, "Look, Uncle. Mom, Dad, and Riya have already created enough drama for one morning. I need to take a 2-hour nap. If you make any more noise, I will block the entire association's mana for the next 10 years. Understood?" Director Vikram slammed his forehead straight onto the floor. "As you command, Lord Procrastinator. We are leaving right now." Without wasting a single second, the elite hunters literally dragged one another out, scrambling out of the house as if fleeing from a demon. Mom called out from behind, "Hey! Close the door on your way out. You're letting mosquitoes in." Dad twirled his screwdriver happily. "Well, good thing the guests left. I'm gonna go cast an infinite dimension spell on the bedroom balcony. It'll make drying the laundry so much easier." I buried my face back under the pillow and drifted off to sleep. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Scared away the National Association without lifting a finger. Reward, plus 50,000 EXP, skill unlocked, do it tomorrow. To the outside world, the National Hunter Association was the supreme authority, but in this house, they were just another annoyance ruining my sleep cycle. It was 11 a.m. A quiet calm had barely settled over the house after the National Hunter Association fled, when loud, heated shouting echoed from the balcony. "Listen to me. Did you skip work again today? You've been sitting with your laptop open since morning, but you haven't typed a single word of actual work." That voice belonged to our neighbor, Varma Auntie. Dad peeked out the window and let out a soft sigh. "Oh dear, looks like Varma Ji is getting chewed out again." Riya, lounging on the sofa, tapped away at her phone screen as purple glowing butterflies fluttered above her head. "Sister's System, Gossip and Whispers Oracle. Guess what, Dad?" Ria chimed in with a mischievous grin. Uncle Varma is actually on a 1-month sick leave from work. He told his boss he contracted a rare magical fever, but he's secretly sitting at home grinding video games to become a level 99 Dark Demon King. Mom marched out of the kitchen brandishing her broom. The bristles in her hand were now crackling with pure divine lightning. Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. What? Mom fumed. Lying to his poor wife? That goes against the peace of this entire neighborhood. I'm going over right now to obliterate Varma G's laptop with a cosmic flame. Mom, chill out. I mumbled from where I was sprawling across the dining table, still wearing my pajamas. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Current task, stop Mom from destroying the neighbor's house. Action taken, lay down on the sofa and refuse to stand up. Buff triggered, apathy shield, nullifies all aggressive divine energy in a 50-meter radius. Swoosh. The moment the cosmic lightning shot out from Mom's broom and reached my vicinity, it vanished into a tiny puff of harmless smoke. Mom glared at me. Rudra, why do you keep canceling my divine magic with your pure laziness? Mom, it's called peacekeeping through laziness, I replied, keeping my eyes closed. Besides, if you break Uncle Varma's laptop, Varma Auntie will come over and cry at our house for 2 straight hours. And that will ruin my nap time. Ding dong. Just then, our doorbell rang. Dad opened the door to find Uncle Varma standing outside. He was drenched in sweat, his eyes bloodshot, clutching an old, broken Wi-Fi router in his trembling hands. Aya, Sunil Ji. Uncle Varma stammered nervously. That energy wave that burst out from your house this morning, it blew up my Wi-Fi router. I was in the middle of a final boss fight in my game, please fix it. Dad smiled warmly and took the router into his hands. Dad's system, DIY God of Creation. Skill activated, over-engineering supreme ********. Don't worry at all, Varma G. I'll fix this right up for you. Dad pulled out his trusty screwdriver and gave the router a soft tap. Flash. Golden runes spilled out from inside the router. The cheap plastic box instantly morphed into an ancient celestial artifact, tapping directly into the satellite magic system. Router speeds, 999,999 terabytes per second, latency, 0.00001 ms. Uncle Varma's jaw hit the floor. What is this? My ping went into the negatives. Your internet will never stutter again, Varma G. Dad announced proudly. I even installed a quantum protection barrier inside. Now, if your wife tries pulling the router's power cord, she'll just get a harmless 10,000-volt peaceful shock. Sunil Ji, are you a man or a god? Uncle Varma grabbed Dad's hands in tears of absolute gratitude. Suddenly, Varma Auntie's roaring voice boomed from behind. Ramesh Varma, what are you doing over at the neighbor's house? The color drained instantly from Uncle Varma's face. And my wife is here. Mom stepped up to the front door, placing her hands on her hips. Varma G's wife. Listen here. He's been lying to you and playing video games all day long. What? Flames practically erupted from Varma Auntie's head. Forget world threats, the drama in this neighborhood was on another level entirely. I let out a long, weary sigh. Man, these people cancel my morning nap every single time. From my spot on the sofa, I casually pointed a finger toward Uncle Varma. Divine skill activated, procrastinate problems, 0.5% power. Glitch. In a split second, Varma Auntie's fury vanished completely. Her mind went completely blank. Wait, why did I come over here again? Varma Auntie blinked, rubbing her temples. Oh, right. I came over to borrow some tea leaves from the neighbors. Uncle Varma stared at me in sheer disbelief. His secret, his game, his marriage, all of it had been saved in a single heartbeat. Rudra, my boy. Uncle Varma looked at me with a mix of terror and deep reverence. You truly are a deity. Adjusting my pillow, I mumbled, I'm no deity, uncle. I just want everyone to mind their own business and let me sleep. Now please, get out of my room. Uncle Varma bowed deeply in respect and quietly slipped away. Mom crossed her arms, glaring at me. You always cover up for people's bad habits. Mom, sweeping things under the rug is the true essence of procrastination, I smirked, closing my eyes once more. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Save the neighbor's marriage by refusing to deal with drama. Reward, title unlocked, lazy mediator, plus 100% sleep quality. No matter how many world-ending threats knocked on our front door, the real villains in this house were the petty daily dramas of our own neighborhood. It was 2 p.m. After all the morning drama, peace had finally settled over the house. Dad was out in the garage, trying to convert an old bicycle into a God-class flying chariot. Mom was in the kitchen, boiling a few elixirs for evening snacks. Ria was lounging on the sofa, scrolling through Instagram reels. And me? I was lying flat on my bed, staring blankly at the ceiling, basking in pure inner peace. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Current task, get up and do 10 push-ups. Action taken, stared blankly at the ceiling fan for 45 minutes. Buff triggered, ultimate slack off, plus 1000% absolute resistance to dimensional attacks. Yeah, man. Why bother working hard when just lying down boosts your stats? Crayak. Suddenly, a massive, pitch-black dimensional rift tore open right in the middle of the living room air. Space-time shattered like a pane of glass. A horrifying, suffocating aura flooded the entire house, a pressure heavy enough to bring every hunter across the continent to their knees in a split second. An 8-foot-tall figure stepped out from within the rift. 2 massive curved horns protruded from his head, his eyes burned like red flames, and he wielded a giant black broadsword crackling with demonic lightning. This was no minor demon cultist. This was Demon King Belial, ruler of the Nether Realm. Mwahahaha. Belial's voice boomed so loudly that the windows and doors rattled. Puny mortals. Bow before your new master. I, the Demon King of the Abyss, set my first foot upon this realm. Swoosh. Before Belial could even finish his sentence, Mom charged out of the kitchen brandishing her mop, her face blazing with fury. Oh, good grief. Where did all this trash come from on my freshly cleaned floor? Mom yelled. Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. Skill activated, dust-busting divine cleanse ********. Mom twirled the mop like a master martial artist handling a spear. A blinding white wave of cleanse magic slammed right into Belial's feet. Flush. The dark aura clinging to Belial's 10,000-year-old evil demonic armor was washed clean away, as if someone had dumped a bucket of detergent over him. His demonic boots practically gleamed. What? Belial gasped, staring in shock at his sparkling boots. My abyss armor, it's spotless? Dad came running out from the garage, still holding his screwdriver. Hold on, Sunita. He tore a rift right through the floor. Dad took one look at the dimensional rift gaping in the living room and held his head in exasperation. Dad's system, DIY God of Creation. Skill activated, spatial patchwork and wall putty *********. Interdimensional portals these days, cracking open everywhere without permission. Dad twirled his screwdriver through the air and pointed it straight at the rift. Clink. Glitching golden runes manifested in midair. That terrifying, world-ending portal to the Nether Realm slammed shut instantly, sealed as seamlessly as if Dad had patched it up with M-Seal or wall putty. Belial's way back home was completely cut off. Belial looked back in sheer panic. My realm portal, sealed with a simple screwdriver? Uncle, move aside a bit, Rhea said without even looking up from the sofa, purple butterflies fluttering around her head. Sister's system, gossip and whispers oracle. Rhea glanced at her phone screen and smirked villainously. By the way, Lord Belial, do the people in the Nether Realm know you're not actually their demon king? That you're actually just their tax collector playing dress-up? The color drained entirely from Belial's face. That secret was only known to my mother. How on earth do you know that? Your ex spilled all the data on my oracle system, Uncle, Rhea replied casually, snapping a selfie. Belial's mind went completely haywire. He couldn't comprehend what kind of trap he had walked into. One woman was scrubbing his armor, an uncle had sealed his portal, and a schoolgirl was leaking his deepest personal secrets. Why you guys, you aren't human. You're monsters. Belial raised his giant sword in terror. I will turn you all to ash. He swung his sword down with every ounce of his power, a stroke capable of wiping an entire city off the map. That's when I strolled out of my bedroom into the living room, dressed in my pajamas and letting out a wide yawn. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Current task, intercept the Demon King's attack. Action taken, stretched my arms and yawned out loud. Buff triggered, Ultimate Apathy, converts all high-tier offensive energy into a gentle cool breeze. FWHHHH. The moment Belial's world-ending slash reached me, it dissipated into a soft, cool breeze. It gently ruffled my messy hair, making me feel even sleepier. Belial's sword snapped clean in half, clattering onto the floor. What? Belial dropped to his knees. The rage in his eyes had turned into pure, unadulterated terror. My ultimate attack, cancelled out by a lazy kid's yawn? I placed a hand on Belial's shoulder and said casually, Look, Demon King sir, your timing is terrible. 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. is my nap time. If you make any more noise, I'll put your entire nether realm into an infinite time loop. Belial instantly grabbed my feet in desperation. Forgive me, almighty lazy god. Send me back. I promise I will never set foot on earth again. Mom stepped forward, brandishing her broom. Sweep and mop the floor first. Only then will Sunil open a new portal for you. For the next 10 minutes, the feared demon king of the entire nether realm, Belial, was busily sweeping and mopping our living room floor while I sat comfortably on the sofa sipping hot tea. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Defeated the demon king by taking an afternoon nap. Reward, plus 100,000 EXP, title unlocked, Demon Lord's Landlord. When Belial finally finished cleaning the house and fled back to his realm, he issued a single absolute decree to all his demon generals: attack any country on earth if you must, but never, ever wander within a 100-mile radius of that suburban house. There's another million-year-old saying, no matter how god-level you become, no one escapes Mom's nagging. At 8 a.m. sharp, Mom yanked the blanket right off my face. Rudra, today is your Hunter Academy entrance exam and you're still lying in bed? Mom barked, brandishing her rolling pin. Your dad didn't get you a VIP recommendation letter because he wants you to pass through your own hard work. Dad called out from the kitchen, Sunita. I attached a tiny god-tier luck charm to his exam form. Now even if he leaves all his answers blank, he'll still score 100%. Sunil. Stop making him even lazier. Mom scolded. I let out a long sigh. The Hunter Academy, where the country's top student hunters come to flex their magic power. I didn't want to go there at all, but even the procrastination overlord system surrenders before Mom's rolling pin. By 10 a.m., I was standing in the grand testing grounds of the National Apex Hunter Academy. All around me were kids from high-class families. Everyone was strutting around in glowing magical armor, wielding expensive mana swords, and wearing arrogant smirks. Standing among them in a simple hoodie, loose pajamas, and flip-flops, I looked like a complete misfit. Just then, a guy walked up to me. His hair glowed like fiery red embers, and an intense high-class fire aura radiated around him. That was the Academy's top applicant, Kabir Roy, the Flame Monarch candidate. Hey, pajama boy! Kabir sneered, laughing at me. Did you lose your way? This is the Hunter Academy entrance exam, not a sleeping competition. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Current task, argue back or fight Kabir. Action taken, ignored him and yawned. Buff triggered, mental suppression, reduces nearby arrogant target's mana flow by 80%. Swoosh. The magical flame sputtering from Kabir's hair instantly went poof and died out. His aura plummeted to 0 in a single second. What? My fire mana, how did it get suppressed? Kabir stared at his hands in utter panic. I just walked past him. Man, just let me take this exam in peace so I can go home. Finally came the final stage of the exam, the mana crystal assessment. A massive, pitch-black crystal orb was set up at the center of the arena. The rule was simple, the candidate places their hand on the crystal, and the crystal changes color based on their class and mana power, ranging from E rank all the way to S rank. Kabir stepped onto the stage. He placed his hand on the crystal with full power. Flash. The crystal blazed crimson red, and the readout flashed on the screen, A rank fire mage, mana, 45,000. Cheers echoed through the entire stadium. Even the evaluators looked impressed. Kabir shot a proud smirk back in my direction. Next candidate, Rudra, the speaker announced. I casually dragged my flip-flops up to the stage. The evaluators held their heads when they saw my pajamas. Is this kid even serious about this exam? I placed my hand on the crystal. Honestly, I was just hoping to land an E rank so I could fail, go home, and sleep. System alert, measuring mana level. Current state, extremely lazy/sleep deprived. Procrastination protocol, converting all inactive energy into infinite passive mana. Crack. Crackle. The moment the skin of my palm touched the surface, the black crystal orb began to vibrate violently. First it glowed blue, then gold, then dark purple, and then dazzling magical colors burst right out of the screen. Boom. Smoke began spewing out of the mana assessment machine. The numbers on the screen skyrocketed so fast that the system's AI crashed. Mana readout, 100,000. 500,000, 9,999,999. Error, overflow. Sparks. Bang. The Academy's most expensive, indestructible mana crystal orb shattered into thousands of tiny crumbs in a fraction of a second. A dead silence fell over the entire stadium. Evaluators dropped their pens. Kabir Roy's jaw hit the floor, his eyes wide in disbelief. The crystal exploded, the head evaluator gasped, trembling. Without chanting a single word, without casting a spell, just by placing a hand on it? I stood there staring at my hand. Man, was this because of Dad's luck charm or my system? What am I even gonna tell Mom now? The machine broke. The head evaluator scrambled onto the stage and bowed deeply before me. Who are you? A hidden S-rank hunter from the National Association? A world-class archmage? I let out a weary sigh, adjusting my hoodie mask. Uncle, I'm just a normal student who's really sleepy. Just tell me, did I pass or fail? The evaluator frantically pulled out a golden S-rank student pass and shoved it into my hands. P-Pass, you are the most powerful S-class anomaly in the history of this academy. You don't even need to come to class every day. I don't need to come to class every day. Hearing that brought a genuine smile to my face. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. I slipped the S-rank pass into my pocket, offered a lazy wave over my shoulder without turning back, and strolled right out of the stadium, heading straight home to finish my interrupted nap. Behind me, thousands of students and teachers watched my departing back as if they had just witnessed a walking, talking deity. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Accidentally destroyed the Academy's testing machine while trying to fail. Reward, unlocked perk, attendance exemption, no need to attend lectures to get top grades. When I got home and showed Mom my S-rank pass, she set her rolling pin aside and said, "All right, good job. Now go to the market and bring back 2 kilos of tomatoes." No matter how overpowered your system gets, household chores never end. After the S-rank entrance exam, I thought I'd finally get some peace and quiet in life. But peace and my luck were miles apart. The very next day, the academy principal appointed me, Kabir Roy, and 2 other top-tier Rank S students to the Special Operations Unit, Team Alpha. The plan: clear a Rank S dungeon gate that had opened on the outskirts of the city. 9 a.m. In front of the dungeon gate, Kabir Roy stood there clad in his customized, glowing dragon-scale armor. Alongside him were 2 other elite students, Anya, an A-rank celestial archer with glowing white wings, and Rohan, an A-rank heavy shield tank who looked like a walking fortress. All 3 of them were dressed in full professional gear, looking like a battle-ready anime squad straight out of a main lineup. And me? I was standing there in my pajamas, a faded old hoodie, holding a thermos bottle, with a sleep eye mask resting on my forehead. You're really not taking this seriously, are you? Kabir grit his teeth, glaring at my outfit. We are stepping into an S-rank dungeon today. One mistake and the whole team gets wiped out. Anya shot me a sharp, annoyed look as well. Rudra, I know you broke the machine during the entrance exam. But a dungeon is filled with real-life monsters. Pure laziness isn't going to save you in there. I let out a long, slow yawn. Notification: Procrastination Overlord System. Current task: listen to the team briefing. Action taken: adjusted eye mask and fell asleep standing up. Buff triggered: Sleepwalker's reflex, automatic evasion and counterattacks while completely unconscious. Guys, wake me up when the briefing is done. I'm gonna take a standing nap in the meantime, I said, setting my thermos down and pulling the eye mask down over my eyes. Is this guy seriously sleeping? Rohan the tank's jaw hit the floor. Swoosh. With no other choice, the 3 of them practically dragged my sleeping body along as we crossed into the dungeon. Inside, the atmosphere was dark, damp, and creepy. Red glowing crystals protruded from the ground, and toxic poison gas drifted through the air. Roar. Suddenly, thousands of level 90 shadow panthers and a 30-foot-tall cursed abyss ogre lurked out from the pitch-black shadows. The ogre wielded a giant spiked club capable of flattening any hunter into paste with a single swing. Defensive formation. Kabir barked. Rohan, raise your shield. Anya, provide long-range cover fire. Bang. Boom. Kabir ignited the panthers with his pure fire magic, Anya rained down holy light arrows from above, and Rohan held the line against the ogre's devastating swings with his tower shield. The battle raged intensely. Half an hour passed, their stamina plummeted to 20%, and cold sweat drenched their brows. Why won't this ogre die? Kabir gasped, breathing heavily. Just then, the ogre swatted Kabir aside and swung its giant spiked club straight down toward me, where I was leaning against a boulder, snoring peacefully. Rudra! Get out of the way! Anya screamed in panic. The ogre's club was barely an inch away from crushing my head. Slumber protocol activated. I was fast asleep, but my system was wide awake. Without opening my eyes or breaking my sleep, I casually raised one hand in my sleep and delivered a lazy, half-hearted backhand swipe. Divine skill activated, Sleepy Slap, 0.1% power. Boom! Without any flashy aura or visual magic, an insane shockwave of raw atmospheric pressure exploded outward. In a microsecond, the 30-foot abyss ogre's massive club disintegrated into fine dust. The pressure wave surged forward, sweeping through the ogre and obliterating the entire 500-meter dungeon corridor behind it. Every single one of the thousands of shadow panthers was instantly vaporized in a flash. The poisonous gas cleared, the cavern walls looked polished, and the doorway to the dungeon's final boss room blew wide open. Thud. The abyss ogre collapsed onto the ground, knocked out cold, not a single drop of blood spilled, purely rendered unconscious by the shockwave of my sleepy slap. Kabir's mouth hung open. Anya dropped her bow onto the floor. Rohan sank to his knees behind his shield, speechless. In a single swipe? The entire S-rank dungeon horde cleared? Kabir stammered, trembling. And, while he was asleep? I pushed my eye mask up slightly, blinked at my surroundings, and stretched my arms lazily. Huh? It got quiet all of a sudden. Did the monsters run away? Anya pointed a shaky finger at me. They didn't run away, you literally deleted their existence. I picked up my thermos, took a calm sip of hot tea, and mumbled, good. I thought they were gonna keep making noise. Oh, look, the boss room is open. Are you guys gonna fight the boss, or should I go back to sleep? Kabir bowed his head deeply in sheer awe and fear. And no, boss. You rest. We will handle the dungeon boss ourselves. Please, just keep sleeping. Notification: Procrastination Overlord System. Cleared 90% of an S-rank dungeon while taking a nap. Reward, plus 200,000 EXP, title unlocked, Sleeping Calamity. On the walk back home, Kabir, Anya, and Rohan marched behind me like loyal bodyguards escorting a supreme monarch. My plan was to keep a low profile, but it looks like my pure laziness had accidentally turned me into the most terrifying S-rank legend in the entire academy.
पुराने जख्म, डर और आजादी की आखिरी कोशिश, सब कुछ अब गुजरे हुए कल की बात बन चुकी थी। अमीन और सुकून भरी एक नई जिंदगी का आगाज हो चुका था। घर के अंदर का मौसम हमेशा एक जैसा रहता था, वार्म, परफ्यूम्ड और बेइंतहा मोहब्बत से भरा हुआ। सुबह के 10 बज रहे थे। सनरेज लिविंग रूम के कर्टन से छानकर फ्लोर पर एक अजीब सा गोल्डन पैटर्न बना रही थी। बालकनी में रखे छोटे छोटे पॉट्स में से गुलाब की महक अंदर आ रही थी। कबीर किचन आइलैंड पर बैठा हुआ था, हाथ में हॉट कॉफी मग लिए। उसके सामने अन्या खादी थी। वो कबीर के शर्ट के बटन्स एक एक करके लगा रही थी। उसके हाथ इतने जेंटल था, पर उसकी डार्क आइज अब भी हमेशा की तरह कबीर के चेहरे पर टिकी हुई थी, जैसे एक सेकंड के लिए भी गेस हटाना गुनाह हो। कबीर, अनन्या ने सॉफ्ट आवाज में बोला, उसके शर्ट का आखिरी बटन बैंड करते हुए। कबीर ने कॉफी का सिप लेते हुए पूछा, तुझे कभी लगता है कि हमने गलत किया? उसने कबीर के गले में लटकते हुए सिल्वर चेन को थोड़ा एडजस्ट किया। उसकी आंखें बिल्कुल इनोसेंट लग रही थी, पर उसकी होल्ड में वही पुराना हक था। कबीर ने कॉफी मग टेबल पर रखा। उसने अनन्या के हाथ को अपने हाथ में लिया। दोनों की सिल्वर रिंग्स एक दूसरे से टच हुई। K&A। गलत क्या होता है, अनन्या? कबीर ने उसकी आंखों में देखते हुए कहा। बाहर की दुनिया में लोग एक दूसरे से वादे करते हैं और 2 दिन में तोड़ देते हैं। लोग साथ रहते हैं पर एक दूसरे के लिए वक्त नहीं होता। लेकिन तू, ट्यून जो कहा वो करके दिखाया। ट्यून मुझे ऐसी जगह रखा जहां मुझे कभी किसी चीज की कमी नहीं हुई। अनन्या के लिप्स पर एक बहुत ही प्यारी गहरी स्माइल आई। उसने अपना माथा कबीर के माथे से टिकाया। मैं तेरे बिना मर जाती, कबीर, वो फुसफुसाई। तुझे पता है ना? जानता हूं, कबीर ने मुस्कुरा कर कहा। और अब मैं भी तेरे बिना नहीं रह सकता। ट्यून मुझे अपना आदी बना दिया है। अनन्या, ये कोई झूठ नहीं था। कबीर ने रियलाइज कर लिया था कि अब अगर उसे आजाद कर भी दिया जाए तो भी वो बाहर की दुनिया में सर्वाइव नहीं कर पाएगा। वो अनन्या के इस सफोकेटिंग, डार्क पर डीपली केयरिंग लव का इतना आदी हो चुका था कि अब वही उसकी ब्रेथ थी। अनन्या ने उसे खींचकर सोफा पर बिठाया और खुद उसकी लैप में बैठ गई, अपना सिर उसके शोल्डर पर रखते हुए। उसने कबीर के हाथ को अपने हाथ में बांध लिया। अब ह्यूम कोई अलग नहीं कर सकता, अनन्या ने कहा। उसकी आवाज में एक एब्सोल्यूट फाइनलिटी थी। ना पेरेंट्स, ना दोस्तों का शोर, ना ये दुनिया। हम हमेशा यही रहेंगे, एक दूसरे के पास, हमेशा, कबीर ने रिपीट किया। उसने अनन्या के बालों में अपना चेहरा छिपा लिया और उसे अपनी बाहों में टाइट भर लिया। बाहर दुनिया तेज रफ्तार से दौड़ रही थी। मौसम बादल रहे थे, लोग आते जाते रहे, लेकिन उस घर में वक्त जैसे हमेशा के लिए थम गया था। उनका गोल्डन केज अब कोई जेल नहीं था, वो उनका हमेशा का आशियाना बन चुका था, जहां यंदेरे की जुनूनी मोहब्बत ने अपने शिकार को हमेशा के लिए अपना डेवोटी बना लिया था। The end.
It was 2 a.m. The nation's most terrifying, secretive assassin organization, the Shadow Syndicate, had embarked on its biggest mission yet. Their target? The quiet suburban house from which abnormal energy pulses had been emanating over the past few days. Hidden within the shadows of the alleyway outside stood 50 elite, S-rank Black Ops assassins. Leading them was Viper, a legendary hitman whose name made international guilds tremble. Listen up, everyone, Viper whispered into his comms. Our target is an ordinary-looking family. Reports suggest they possess rare artifacts. This is a pure stealth operation. No noise, no mercy. Infiltrate in 3 minutes, eliminate everyone, secure the artifacts, and move out. The assassins nodded in unison. Drawing their silent, poison-coated daggers, they leaped over the boundary wall. Little did they know, they weren't breaking into a normal home, they were trespassing into a level 999 final boss dungeon. Click. The lead assassin took his first step into the front yard, landing directly on an unassuming garden hose. Dad system, DIY god of creation. Trap activated, lawn sprinkler of divine judgment ********. Whoosh. Instead of tap water, pure holy plasma liquid blasted out from the sprinkler at 10,000 bars of pressure. The lead S-rank assassin was launched into the air like a rocket, slamming face-first onto the neighbor's roof. His high-tech stealth suit was reduced to ash in a microsecond. What the? Viper gasped in utter horror. Was that a lawn sprinkler or an orbital cannon? Leader. The front door is unlocked, another assassin signaled. Swallowing his panic, Viper slipped inside the house. The living room was pitch black. Suddenly, a figure materialized near the kitchen, Mom, wearing a nightgown, half asleep, clutching a dusty cleaning rag in her hand. Target spotted. An assassin cloaked in stealth lunged behind Mom, plunging a poison dagger toward her neck. Clang! The blade struck Mom's skin and shattered into 2 pieces, as if someone had slammed a plastic spoon against a titanium wall. Without even turning around, Mom casually flicked her wrist, giving a lazy backhand swipe with her cleaning rag. Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. Skill activated, late night dusting shockwave ********. Boom. An invisible sonic shockwave burst from the rag, sending the S-rank assassin flying straight through the living room wall. He was blasted 2 miles away, landing squarely in an empty field. Mom let out a wide yawn, grabbing a bottle of cold water from the fridge. How many times have I told Sunil to turn on the electric mosquito racket before sleeping? So many mosquitoes buzzing around tonight. Cold sweat poured down Viper and his remaining assassins. And mosquitoes? That guy was the top assassin in the country. Just then, a voice echoed from the sofa. It was Ria, her face illuminated solely by her smartphone screen. Sister's System, Gossip and Whispers Oracle. Hey there, Uncle Viper, Ria smiled in the dark room. Your Shadow Syndicate's Swiss bank account number is ZH9088X, right? By the way, does your wife know you took out a life insurance policy under her name while secretly training her as an agent? Viper's face turned ghostly pale. That was top secret encrypted data. You hacked my entire syndicate's main server in 5 seconds? My system doesn't hack, Uncle, it just spills everyone's tea, Ria smirked, posting an update. Now, Viper entered full-blown panic mode. Screaming to his remaining 10 assassins, he yelled, retreat. Get out right now. This house is cursed. Yawn. A long, tired yawn echoed from the corner sofa. I was wrapped up in my blanket trying to sleep, but all their shouting had ruined my rest. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Current task, eliminate the Shadow Syndicate. Action taken, turned around on the sofa to face the wall. Buff triggered, Do Not Disturb field, erases all aggressive intent and converts hostile entities into harmless janitors. Glitch. In a fraction of a second, the dark, hostile atmosphere in the room shifted entirely. Daggers, vials of poison, and silenced firearms slipped from the assassin's trembling hands, clattering onto the floor. Every ounce of bloodlust drained from their minds, replaced by a strange, serene trance. Viper picked up a mop resting against the wall. I must clean these floor tiles. Another assassin grabbed a broom. I'll go trim the garden grass. A third began sorting the laundry. I pulled the blanket over my head and mumbled softly, have the entire house sparkling clean by 6 a.m., and don't make any noise. Yes, my lord, all 50 S-rank assassins chorused in a synchronized whisper, throwing themselves into deep cleaning the house with fierce passion. Next morning, 7 a.m. When Mom stepped out of the bedroom, her eyes filled with pure joy. Every single corner of the house, every tile, the balcony, and the garden were sparkling as if it were a 7-star luxury presidential suite. Outside, 50 world-class S-rank assassins stood in neat, disciplined rows, holding brooms and mops like the most devoted house staff. Oh, wow, Rudra. Mom said proudly. For the first time in your life, you actually hired some useful people. What well-mannered young men. Dad handed each of them a 100 rupee tip. Here you go, boys. Honest pay for honest work. Tears welled up in Viper's eyes as he bowed deeply before Dad. Thank you so much, sir. We will return tonight to clean again. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Converted the world's deadliest assassin syndicate into a free cleaning service. Reward, plus 300,000 EXP, title unlocked, Supreme Landlord of Darkness. I took a calm sip from my teacup, watching from the window as the Shadow Syndicate happily set off. They were now our personal housekeeping squad. A valuable lesson for the rest of the world, trespassing into Rudra's house means a lifetime of unpaid chores. The atmosphere at home since morning was practically festive. Viper and his 50 S-rank assassins were lined up in the courtyard like world-class professional maids and butlers. Viper stood behind Dad holding a tray of hot tea, while the other assassins were meticulously trimming the garden grass with scissors, measuring every single millimeter. Mom was in the kitchen cooking aromatic paleo. Dad was converting a new LED bulb into a god-tier quantum projector. Ria was lounging on the sofa, casually reading secret group chats of guild leaders from across the world. And me? I was wrapped tightly in a blanket on the cushioned recliner sofa placed right in the center of the living room. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Current task, wake up and do literally anything productive. Action taken, turned on white noise and closed eyes. Buff triggered, absolute unmovable being, cosmic reality aligns itself to protect your sleep cycle. The true joy of sleeping hits best at 11 a.m. on a Sunday. Craisis. Suddenly, the sky above the entire planet turned a blood-curdling crimson red. A flashing red imperial warning popped up on every single smartphone, TV screen, and Hunter system UI across the globe. World emergency, the end of reality. Class, celestial god-level invasion. The 7th cosmic devourer has awakened. The sky literally tore apart. A 1,000-meter-tall, dragon-like eldritch god, Azathoth the World Eater, descended from the heavens toward the earth. Every single breath he took spawned localized black holes in the atmosphere. S-rank hunters, national associations, and international guilds worldwide dropped their weapons. Everyone knew this was Earth's final chapter. There was no escaping this. Mwahaha. This tiny, pathetic planet will serve as my breakfast. Azathoth's booming voice triggered earthquakes across entire continents. He raised his massive, cosmic claw, aiming straight downward. His target was that exact quiet suburban neighborhood in India, where he felt a strange, ominous threat aura emanating from. Swoosh! Ozathor's giant claw hurled straight toward our roof. Mom poked her head out the kitchen window, holding her trusty rolling pin. Hey! You tall demon! Watch where you step. You're kicking up dust on my sun-dried laundry. Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. Skill activated, cosmic clothesline defense ********. Mom gave a simple wave of her rolling pin toward the sky. Boom! The second Ozathor's celestial claw breached the 100-meter radius around our house. It slammed into an invisible cosmic barrier, polishing his massive claws to a sparkling shine instantly. The violent magical recoil blasted Ozathor's entire arm back. What? Ozathor's giant red eyes widened in sheer disbelief. My reality-destroying claw, stopped by a clothes-drying defensive barrier? Dad walked out onto the terrace, twirling his screwdriver in the air. Dad's system, DIY god of creation. Skill activated, sky ceiling and roof insulation *********. The weather was so nice today, and you went and ruined the lighting by turning the sky red. Dad gave a soft tap toward the sky with his screwdriver. Clink. In a microsecond, the red sky repainted itself back into a clear, tranquil blue. Ozathor's terrifying black holes transformed into cute, fluffy white clouds. Am I dark domain magic, repainted with a screwdriver? Ozathor was now genuinely panicking. Ria held up her phone from the balcony. Sister's system, gossip and whispers oracle. Hey there, world eater uncle, Ria giggled. Stop pretending to be a big bad cosmic devourer. I know you took out a 500 billion space coin loan from the multiverse bank and you're about to go completely bankrupt. Ozathor's giant face turned a sickly pale yellow. That data was secured under the multiverse system's master encryption. How did you access that? Ozathor finally realized the horrifying truth. These weren't humans. These were the uncrowned, hidden absolute bosses of the entire universe. I will turn you all to ash. Ozathor gathered every ounce of his remaining strength, charging up a universe-ending beam. I finally pushed myself off the recliner sofa. Slinging the blanket over my shoulder with a wide yawn, I slipped into my flip-flops and stepped out onto the balcony. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Current task, save the planet from total annihilation. Action taken, stretched my arms and told him to pipe down. Buff triggered, absolute retirement, forces any high-tier entity into instant submission and chill mode. Hey, Ozathor, I said in a calm, lazy voice. Sunday is the only day in the whole week I get to sleep in. You're screaming in the sky acting like my alarm clock. I looked up at Ozathor and gave a simple flick of my finger. Divine skill activated, not today, 0.0001% power. Glitch. BZZZZT. The 1,000-meter tall body of the eldritch god Ozathor began to rapidly shrink. His cosmic flames extinguished, his massive horns shriveled down, and as he tumbled from the sky, he morphed into a tiny, adorable purple cat lizard creature. Plop! Ozathor landed right onto our balcony railing. Am my godly power? My size? Gone? Ozathor squeaked in a tiny, squeaky voice. I gave him a gentle scratch under his chin. Your name is Pikachu now. If you sit here quietly and drink your milk, you get to stay. Try any demonic funny business, and I'll have Mom sweep you out of existence with her broom. Ozathor, a world devourer who had consumed 10,000 galaxies, meekly squeaked out a terrified meow and sat down quietly beside the milk bowl. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Saved the entire multiverse by shrinking the final boss into a house pet. Reward, plus 1 million EXP, title unlocked, lazy supreme ruler of creation. Down below, Director Vikram from the National Association, students from the Academy, and Viper's assassins watched the balcony scene in absolute awe. They finally understood. No matter how many demon kings, celestial gods, or cosmic disasters threaten Earth, as long as this family stays under one roof, nothing in the universe can touch this world. Mom's voice called out warmly from the kitchen, Rudra. Give Pikachu his milk and help your father set the dining table. The food is getting cold. Coming, Mom. I smiled. No matter how overpowered my system gets, and no matter how much of a lazy overlord I become, in the end, family really is everything. The end. Ozathor, once the absolute terror of 10,000 galaxies, was now curled up on our living room rug, meowing as a tiny purple lizard cat. His daily routine had undergone a complete overhaul. 8 a.m., nuzzling against Mom's feet to beg for milk. 10 a.m., getting back scratches from Viper, the S-rank assassin leader turned butler. 12 p.m., stealing my blanket to try and nap right beside me. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Pet status, Ozathor, Chiku. Current mood, domestication level at 89%. Still plotting multiverse conquest between naps. Opening one eye from the sofa, I glanced over at Chiku, who was pretending to play with a ball of yarn. Meow. Translation, human. Set me free, or I shall tear your sofa to shreds. Go away, man. Let me sleep, I mumbled, pulling the pillow over my head. Just then, Mom marched out of the kitchen brandishing her rolling pin. Rudra. Ria, get down here right now. Mom called out. Chiku hasn't finished his milk since last night. And look how dry his skin is. We are taking him to the animal hospital this instant. The moment Chiku heard the words hospital and injection, pure cosmic terror flooded his eyes. Meow. What kind of insult is this? I am a cosmic god. Not some stray alley pup for you to drag to a vet? Viper instantly bowed low to Mom. Madam, I shall have 50 elite assassins clear out the hospital immediately. The vet has already been warned, if the pet suffers even a scratch of discomfort, their guild will be obliterated. Dad grabbed his toolbox from the terrace. Hold on. Let me fit an anti-gravity quantum turbo into the car engine. We'll reach the hospital in 2 seconds flat. The animal hospital and the galactic bounty hunter. 10 minutes later, we were standing outside the local city pet clinic. Chiku was cradled in my arms, trembling uncontrollably in fear. He wasn't terrified of the doctor, he was terrified of Mom's threat, get your shot quietly, or no fish soup for you tonight. The vet had barely placed his stethoscope against Chiku's chest to examine him when, boom, the roof of the pet clinic suddenly blew wide open. A high-tech armored spaceship crashed straight out of the sky, slamming onto the street. The spaceship door hissed open, and out stepped a 3-meter-tall intergalactic bounty hunter, Craven the Godslayer. In his hands, he wielded a realm-destroying plasma cannon. Mwahahaha. The multiverse system alerted me that Azathor the World Eater's signature was originating from this backwater planet. Craven roared, his voice shaking the ground. Azathor, show your true form and perish at my hands. Panic erupted across the entire city. S-rank hunters scrambled backward in absolute terror. Craven peered inside the ruined clinic, and his gaze landed straight onto tiny, purple Chiku sitting snugly in my lap. Ha! This tiny kitten is the World Eater? Craven burst into hysterical laughter. Azathor, have you become so pathetic that you sit in an ordinary human's lap like a helpless rodent? Embarrassed out of his mind, Chiku buried his face deep into my jacket. The interrupting bounty hunter. Mom pulled out the clinic receipt from her handbag and shot Craven a razor-sharp glare. Hey, you bear-looking alien. Mom yelled. You just wrecked the clinic roof. Our turn was right up next. Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. Skill activated, slipper velocity strike *********. Mom slipped the chapel off her foot and launched a lightspeed chapel strike straight at Craven's face in 0.001 seconds. Thwack. His 100 billion space coin armored helmet shattered into fine dust in a single microsecond. Craven was sent flying 500 meters backward, slamming violently into a skyscraper. Kekayaya? Craven coughed up blood as he crawled out from the rubble. God tier holy damage from a middle-aged woman's slipper? Dad pulled a screwdriver from his pocket and tapped the side of Craven's giant spaceship engine. Dad's system, DIY god of creation. Skill activated, scrap metal conversion ********. Glitch. BZZZZT. Craven's 50,000-year-old alien starship instantly melted down and reassembled itself into a humble auto-rickshaw. There you go, fixed your vehicle, Dad said casually. Now go drive for Ola. Stop polluting the skies. Craven's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. Am I Supreme Starship, turned into an auto-rickshaw? Rudra's lazy conclusion. Ria snapped a quick photo of Craven on her phone. Hey there, bounty hunter uncle, Ria giggled. Multiverse News just posted that you have an open tax fraud case across 10 realms. Should I tweet your location to the Galactic Police? Cold sweat drenched Craven's entire body. These people weren't human, they were the most terrifying monsters in the entire multiverse. I let out a long yawn, stretching my arms before gently patting Chiku's head. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Current task, finish the vet visit before lunch. Action taken, glared at the alien intruder. Buff triggered, get out of my sight, forces high-level invaders to experience existential dread. I offered Craven a single, utterly lazy glance. Look, alien, it's time for my pet's checkup. If you don't beat it in 5 seconds, Mom's second slipper is landing straight on your home planet. Terrified out of his mind, Craven grabbed the auto-rickshaw handles, kicked the starter, and blasted away at lightspeed in a cloud of rickshaw smoke. Back to business. The vet stepped outside, trembling like a leaf. And madam, your pet's checkup is complete. He is completely healthy, just a tiny bit overweight. Chiku let out a joyful meow. No injection for him today. Mom scooped Chiku into her arms. Alright, let's head home and make him some fresh soup. Having casually chased off the multiverse's greatest bounty hunter and converted a starship into a rickshaw, our family calmly strolled back home on foot. After returning from the vet visit, everyone was gathered around the living room dining table. Azathor, now lounging on the sofa as a small purple lizard cat, was reminiscing about his former enemies, plotting vengeance in his heart. Chiku's internal thoughts. Mwahahaha. One day I shall regain my true cosmic form. I will plunge this pathetic planet into. Rudra. Did you give Chiku his milk? Mom called out from the kitchen. Chiku's ears perked up in shock. Meow? See Chiku? What kind of trashy name is that? I am Azathor the World Devourer. My name is not Chiku. Ria walked over and scratched Chiku under his chin. Ah, look how happy Chiku gets over his new name. He looks so cute. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Pet name updated, Ozathor $/Rytaro Chiku, ***. Effect, aggression reduced by 50%. Cuteness increased by 200%. Lying on the sofa, I slid the bowl of milk in front of Chiku. Listen, Chiku, just drink your milk quietly. Pikachu sounded a bit copyrighted, but Chiku is totally local and awesome. Terrified, Chiku quietly buried his face in the bowl. He knew that if he protested, Mom's rolling pin would reactivate immediately. The Street Dog Gang Alliance. At 3 p.m., Dad and Viper were sitting in the garden. Dad was using his quantum screwdriver to modify the garden hose into a hyperpressure laser cannon so the plants could get watered in 0.001 seconds flat. Suddenly, ferocious barking echoed from the street outside our gate. Woof! Woof! Grrrrrr. The largest and most dangerous stray dog in the alley, Kalu, the street overlord, was standing right outside our gate, flanked by 10 of his dog buddies. Kalu was no ordinary stray. He was the uncrowned king of District 4's streets. He had noticed that a weird new purple pet, Chiku, had moved into our house. Peering under the gate, Kalu glared at Chiku and barked, "Woof! Hey, new kitten. These streets belong to me. If you want to stay here, you gotta pay a daily tax of half a fried chicken." Chiku looked down from the balcony, his crimson red eyes flashing with pure rage. Chiku's system reactivated. A common street hound, demanding a tax from me, the ruler of 10,000 galaxies. I shall cast him and his entire bloodline into the cosmic void. Chiku leaped from the balcony, landing cleanly in the yard. He attempted to release 0.0001% of his cosmic pressure. Bzzzzzt. A faint purple aura flickered in the air. The moment Kalu and his gang felt that aura, their ears shot straight up. But instead of retreating, Kalu called in backup from every corner. Within seconds, 30 stray dogs from the entire neighborhood swarmed and surrounded our front gate. The domestic interventions. Mom peeked out the window and gasped in distress. Oh dear. So many stray dogs have cornered our little Chiku. Rudra. Savior Chiku. Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. Skill activated, Parlg Peace Treaty *********. Mom grabbed a 10 rupee packet of Parlg biscuits from the kitchen, crushed it in midair, and tossed the crumbs over the gate. Boom. The ordinary biscuits dispersed through the air, transforming into divine god-tier energy kibbles. The instant Kalu and his dog gang devoured those divine treats. Glitch. Bzzzzzt. The eyes of all 30 stray dogs glowed a brilliant gold. Their IQ levels instantly shot up by 10,000%. They morphed from ordinary stray dogs into S-rank cosmic guardian hounds. Kalu immediately stood up on his hind legs and bowed deeply before Chiku. Woof! My lord. We understand now. Your mistress possesses god-level feasts. From this day forth, we are the official security guards for you and this household. Chiku was completely dumbfounded. What? You sold your absolute loyalty for a 10 rupee biscuit. Dad's upgrade and Rudra's final decision. Dad walked outside and patted Kalu on the head. Rudra, these dogs seem pretty smart. Let's keep them around as our house watchdogs. Dad's system, DIY God of Creation. Skill activated, Dog Collar Protocol **********. Using some old plastic wires, Dad used his screwdriver to forge quantum deflector collars for all 30 dogs in 2 seconds. Now, if any demon king or alien invader entered a 5 kilometers radius of the house, these 30 hounds would chew them to pieces. I let out a long yawn from the balcony. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Current task, stop the street noise so I can sleep. Action taken, pointed at the gate and said, quiet. Buff triggered, absolute peace, silences all aggressive entities in a 10 kilometers radius. Everyone, shut up and sit quietly, I mumbled in a lazy tone. Instantly, pin-drop silence fell over the entire street. All 30 S-rank cosmic hounds and Chiku, the world eater, sat down in a neat, orderly line on the pavement. Viper walked over and bowed before Chiku. Chiku-sama. Congratulations, you have officially become the leader of District 4 street animals. Chiku slapped a paw against his forehead. I went from being a multiverse devourer to the leader of a neighborhood cat and dog gang. What is my life? Right after becoming the leader of the neighborhood cat and dog gang, an even more terrifying disaster reared its ugly head in front of Rudra. A disaster that no S-rank hunter, demon king, or overlord in the universe could ever escape. The high school parent-teacher meeting, PTM. At 8 a.m. sharp, the phone rang. It was Mr. Sharma, Rudra's notoriously strict class teacher. Hello? Rudra's parents? This is his class teacher speaking from St. Xavier High School. Mr. Sharma's raspy, stern voice boomed through the speaker. Rudra has slept through every single lecture for the past 2 weeks. Today is the PTM. If his parents don't show up by 10 a.m., I am rusticating him from the school. Rudra buried his face deep under his pillow. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Emergency event triggered, the PTM threat. Penalty for failure, mom finds out about your report card $\Ritero instant death penalty. Recommended strategy, pretend to have a 104 degrees Fahrenheit fever. But before Rudra could even execute his fake fever act, mom was already standing in the bedroom doorway brandishing her rolling pin. Rudra, your teacher just called, mom yelled. Ajit, get the car out. We're heading to school right now. Dad grabbed his trusty toolbox. Hold on, let me hook the car horn up to a hypersonic frequency projector. Traffic will clear out in 1 second flat. Viper, the S-rank assassin leader, immediately barked orders to his 50 elite assassins. Listen up, everyone. It's Master Rudra's PTM. Turn the entire school into a Class C security zone. If any teacher dares scold Chiku-sama's master, their entire academy will be reduced to ash. Chiku, Azathor, lifted his head from the sofa and let out a sinister meow. Translation, mwahaha. Not even this guy's parents can save him today. This is gonna be good. 10 a.m., St. Xavier High School. An eerie silence hung over the school campus. Viper's 50 assassins, clad in sleek black tactical suits and optical masks, were stationed across every rooftop wielding sniper rifles. The principal and faculty were trembling in absolute terror, convinced that a global terrorist syndicate had taken over the school. Inside classroom 10B, Mr. Sharma sat behind his desk in an academically furious mood. So you two are Rudra's parents? Mr. Sharma lowered his glasses, glaring at mom and dad. Do you have any idea what your son does in class? He sleeps through every single period. He scored a big fat 0 in mathematics. The boy has no future. Mom's rage instantly rocketed from 0 to 1000%. Except, her anger wasn't directed at Rudra, it was directed straight at Mr. Sharma. Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. Skill activated, slipper calibration of truth ********. Excuse me, Teacher G. Mom slammed her hand onto the desk. Boom. A massive crack spiderwebbed across the wooden table. My son works hard all day long at home. If he got a 0, it just means you checked his paper wrong. Mr. Sharma's soul practically left his body. And madam, look at this answer sheet. It's completely blank. Dad pulled his quantum screwdriver from his pocket and tapped the blank test paper. Dad's system, DIY God of Creation. Skill activated, ink quantum retrieval *********. Glitch. BZZZZT. Instantly, glowing golden characters materialized across the blank paper, printing out advanced quantum mathematics formulas that even fifth-dimensional scientists hadn't discovered yet. The paper emitted a holy light so radiant that it blinded Mr. Sharma through his spectacles. What? Mr. Sharma's eyes popped out of his head. These answers? This is at the level of Einstein and the absolute math god of the multiverse. I thought it was blank because the ink was invisible. Dad casually slipped the screwdriver back into his jacket. See that? Your ink was cheap, which is why it wasn't showing up. Don't go blaming our son. The intergalactic inspector interruption. Suddenly, the classroom wall shattered as a colossal machine, the multiverse academic auditor X-900, busted through the brickwork. Warning! Warning, the robot roared over its loudspeakers. This planet's education system is subpar. According to multiverse laws, all weak students will be annihilated. The robot aimed its giant laser cannon straight at Rudra. Mr. Sharma scrambled under his desk, hyperventilating in fear. Chiku, the world eater, sitting comfortably inside Ria's backpack, peeked out with a wicked grin. Haha. Now this robot will finally obliterate this lazy human. Ria held up her phone. Sister's system, gossip and whispers oracle. Hey there, robot uncle, Ria giggled. Your serial number is X-900, right? Multiverse School Board scrapped you 2 years ago, and you've been running illegal inspections to extort bribes. The robot system lagged violently. Error. Secret data leaked. How do you know? Viper leaped from the ceiling, planting daggers right into the robot's joints. How dare you interrupt Master Rudra's PTM? I let out a long, weary yawn, stretching my arms. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Current task, end the PTM so I can go home and eat lunch. Action taken, tap the desk. Buff triggered, class dismissed, forces any academic entity or robot into total shutdown. Listen, robot, quietly take yourself to the scrapyard. I'm hungry. BZZZZT. Crash. The giant multiverse robot instantly shut down, reassembling itself into a tiny steel tiffin box that clattered onto the floor. PTM conclusion. Mr. Sharma, watching the whole scene unfold from under his desk, was completely struck dumb. With trembling hands, he grabbed his stamp and slammed a +++, God tier, across Rudra's report card. Rudra, you are the most intelligent student in this universe. You don't even need to come to school starting tomorrow, you can just become the principal. Mr. Sharma squeaked, on the verge of tears. Mom checked the report card and beamed with pride. Come on, Ajit. Our boy turned out to be the top scorer. Let's go home and eat paleo. Pulling his hoodie mask up, Rudra mumbled softly, phew, another PTM survived. Chiku slapped a paw against his forehead. This family turned a giant robot into a lunchbox just to get through a PTM. What kind of madness did I get stuck in? The Sunday following the PTM arrived. And Sunday meant everyone's absolute favorite event in Rudra's house, the Great Sunday Lunch. Except this Sunday was bringing a brand new twist. At 10 a.m., a live advertisement for a national cooking championship was broadcasting on TV. The main host of the show, world-renowned multiverse chef Gordon Blade, shouted dramatically into his microphone. "No chef on Earth or in the cosmos can beat my mutton biryani. Whoever manages to defeat me will win $1 billion and the title of a god of culinary arts." Mom pointed her rolling pin straight at the TV screen, her eyes blazing with competitive fury. "Excuse me? This foreigner thinks he can challenge our authentic Indian biryani." Mom snapped, turning off the TV. "Ajit, we are hosting the Great Biryani Championship right here at home today. I'll show him what real biryani actually tastes like." Dad grabbed his trusty toolbox. "Hold on, let me fit an antimatter thermal core into the gas stove burner so the rice cooks in 0.01 seconds flat." Lounging on the sofa, Chiku, Ozathor, flattened his ears in sheer panic. He knew all too well that whenever a cooking experiment happened in this household, the space-time continuum of the entire neighborhood was bound to shatter. Chiku's tactical warning, eating food made in this household, is infinitely more hazardous than a direct hit from a multiverse black hole blast. The contestants and the kitchen battlefield. 3 cooking stations were promptly set up out in the garden. Station 1, Mom and Viper traditional S-rank Hyderabadi dum biryani. Viper and his 50 elite assassins acted like world-class sous chefs, slicing onions with subatomic precision. Station 2, Dad quantum fusion biryani. Dad used his screwdriver to alter the molecular structure of the spices, applying absolute flavor enhancement. Station 3, Rudra and Chiku the lazy instant biryani. Rudra dumped a ready-to-eat packet along with a handful of raw rice into a pot and set it on the stove. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Current task, make lunch so you can sleep. Action taken, added a pinch of salt and closed the lid. Buff triggered, divine flavor alchemist, transforms any lazy meal into an omnipotent feast. 1 p.m., the uninvited intergalactic chef. Suddenly, a high-tech culinary airship descended from the skies. Chef Gordon Blade stepped out alongside his 100 cyborg kitchen assistants. He wielded a glowing platinum chef knife capable of slicing through an S-rank dragon in a fraction of a second. "Mwahahaha!" Chef Gordon boomed. "My system alerted me that a divine food aura was emanating from this house. I, the god of culinary arts, have arrived to obliterate your dishes." Mom tightened the straps of her apron and brandished her trusty degreasing ladle through the air. "Hey! How dare you step into my garden without taking your shoes off?" Mom barked. Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. Skill activated, slipper flame roast seasoning ********. Mom charged her slipper with a scorching 10,000 degrees Celsius heat aura and hurled it at Chef Gordon's 100 cyborg assistants like a lethal boomerang. Thwack thwack thwack. In a single microsecond, all 100 cyborg assistants were roasted to a crisp and neatly folded into perfect gold-plated serving trays that clattered onto the ground. What? Chef Gordon's eyes nearly popped out of his sockets. My cyborg army turned into serving utensils in 1 second? Dad pulled his quantum screwdriver from his pocket and tapped Chef Gordon's platinum chef knife. Dad's system, DIY god of creation. Skill activated, kitchen tool repurposing ********. Glitch. BZZZZT. The platinum blade instantly melted down, reassembling into a cheap, plastic coconut scraper. "Here you go," Dad said casually. "Use this to grate some coconut. We need it for the biryani." Cold sweat poured down Chef Gordon's face. My supreme blade turned into a coconut scraper? The final judgment. Ria snapped a quick picture of Chef Gordon on her phone. "Hey there, Chef Uncle," Ria giggled. "Didn't the Multiverse Health Organization slap your restaurant with a $500 million fine for serving unhygienic food? Should I go ahead and drop your rating to 1 star on Swiggy and Zomato?" Chef Gordon's knees buckled. These people weren't chefs, they were absolute culinary calamities. Just then, Rudra lifted the lid off his pot. Boom! A radiant pillar of golden light erupted from Rudra's lazy instant biryani pot, shooting into the heavens and instantly awakening the appetites of celestial gods across the galaxy. The moment the heavenly aroma reached Chef Gordon's nose, he broke down and fell to his knees in tears. This is on another level. This isn't biryani. This is cosmic ambrosia. I lose. I hand over the title of a god of culinary arts to Rudra." Chef Gordon sobbed, dumping his entire prize money onto the ground. I let out a long yawn, placing a tiny portion of the biryani in front of Chiku. "Look, Chef, take your money and your title back with you. I just want to eat lunch and take a nap in peace." The second Chiku, Ozathor, took a single bite of that biryani grain, his crimson eyes widened in sheer disbelief. Chiku's system alert. Consumed, lazy divine biryani. Cosmic power restored, plus 0.0001%. Emotional impact, mind-blowing joy. Conclusion, I am never leaving this family. The food is way too good. Chiku let out a joyful meow and began furiously rubbing his head against Rudra's legs in affection. Sunday afternoon peace. Chef Gordon scrambled into an autorickshaw, clutching his coconut scraper while weeping as he fled the scene. Gathered around the dining table, the whole family, Mom, Dad, Riya, Rudra, Viper, and Chiku, enjoyed the delicious biryani together. Mom gently patted Rudra's head. My boy cooks so well. Starting tomorrow, you are in charge of making daily dinner. My jaw dropped to the floor. Notification, procrastination overlord system. New daily task assigned, cook dinner for family. Penalty for failure, Mom's rolling pin. Oh no. I mumbled softly, pulling my blanket over my face. Chiku silently finished his second bowl of biryani, contemplating, multiverse conquest can wait for later, let me eat dinner first. Right after the Sunday biryani war, as the new week began, the weather took a sudden, bizarre turn. By 2 p.m., dark, glowing purple clouds swept across the sky. A chilling breeze blew in, and before long, a heavy downpour began to lash down. Inside his room, Rudra was tucked under his blanket, desperately trying to catch a peaceful nap. Chiku, Ozathor, was curled up like a little ball near his feet, fast asleep. Tap, tap, tap. Suddenly, a cold drop of water splashed right onto Rudra's forehead. Opening one eye, Rudra looked up at the ceiling. Water was dripping right down the middle of the living room. Ah, come on. Rudra groaned in frustration. The weather was so nice for sleeping, and now the roof is leaking. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Emergency quest triggered, the leaky roof crisis. Current status, water dripping on your blanket. Penalty, sleep quality reduced by 99%. Chiku lifted his head, staring at the water dripping from the ceiling. A flicker of genuine concern flashed in his crimson eyes. Chiku's system analysis, wait. This isn't normal rainwater. This water is infused with dark mana energy from the astral realm. If this water hits the floor, the whole house's spatial barrier will break. Chiku immediately let out a frantic meow to wake Rudra up, but Rudra just pulled the pillow tighter over his head. Mom's bucket protocol and Dad's engineering fix. Mom came rushing out of the kitchen holding a large plastic bucket and 3 steel bowls. Ajit! Look, the roof is leaking. Mom yelled. My new sofa is going to get soaked. Do something quick. Mom placed a steel bowl directly beneath the leak. Clink, clink, clink. Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. Skill activated, sound barrier bucket placement *******. Mom's bowl placement was so mathematically perfect that the dripping sounds transformed into a soothing binaural sleep track, lofi rain beats. Rudra drifted into an even deeper slumber. Dad came running onto the terrace armed with his quantum screwdriver and a packet of M-Seal waterproofing putty. Hold on. I'll fix the roof right now. Dad shouted over the rain. Dad's system, DIY god of creation. Skill activated, molecular waterproof coating *******. Reaching the terrace, Dad charged a piece of M-Seal with his screwdriver and slapped it over the leak. Glitch. BZZZZT. The M-Seal instantly reacted, hardening into an impervious adamantium shield. But Dad made one tiny mistake. Dad accidentally channeled a bit too much quantum energy into the seal. While the roof leak stopped immediately, the entire astral cloud hovering above compressed into a single point. The dimensional flood monster appears. Boom! A massive pillar of light crashed out of the sky, slamming right into our courtyard. From the accumulated rainwater, a 50-meter-tall astral water leviathan, the elemental lord of tides, manifested. Thousands of gallons of water overflowed from its towering body. Mwahaha, the leviathan roared, its voice echoing like thunder. I have descended from the astral realm. I shall submerge your tiny house into a dimensional ocean. Viper and his 50 assassins immediately donned waterproof tactical gear and drew their daggers. How dare you try to turn Chikusama's courtyard into a river? The leviathan launched a giant tidal wave straight toward our house. Mom flung the balcony window open, glaring with absolute fury. Hey, you river demon. You just ruined the laundry I hung out to dry. Mom grabbed a damp cleaning cloth and whipped it through the air with all her strength. Swoosh whip. The whip of the cloth generated a hypersonic vacuum wind so intense that over half of the Leviathan's massive tidal wave evaporated into thin air. What? The Leviathan gasped in shock. My ocean-level attack, evaporated by a simple cleaning rag? Riya's scandal and Rudra's final touch. Riya stepped out onto the balcony, holding up her phone. Sister's system, gossip and whispers oracle. Hey there, water Leviathan uncle, Riya giggled. You fled here from the astral realm, didn't you? I know you stole $2 billion worth of water from the multiverse dam, and now the water board is hunting you down. Cold sweat poured down the Leviathan's body, which was made entirely of water anyway. How did that data get to this planet? Chiku padded out toward the yard, letting out a low, menacing roar, grrr. Listen here, puddleworm, if you ruin my sleep, I will drink you whole. I let out a long, slow stretch on the sofa. My feet were feeling cold because a few straggling drops had splashed onto my toes. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Current task, dry the floor so you can sleep warmly. Action taken, glared at the water monster. Buff triggered, absolute drought, absorbs any excess moisture or aquatic entities instantly. I looked at the Leviathan and made a simple drinking gesture as if holding a small mug. Glitch. Suwak. The 50-meter-tall Leviathan instantly began to shrink. Its entire body of water compressed down, getting sucked straight into a 10-rupee Bisleri water bottle sitting in the courtyard. Plop. The bottle cap screwed itself shut tight. Dad walked down from the terrace and inspected it. Oh, nice. Fresh drinking water. We can use this to make tomorrow's tea. Peace restored. The rain had stopped, and a glowing rainbow arched across the sky. Mom stored the water bottle in the kitchen. Well, the leak is fixed and we got some extra water stored. Rudra pulled his blanket over his head and drifted right back to sleep on the sofa. Chiku stared at the Bisleri bottle and let out a quiet meow. Good thing he turned into Bisleri. If Mom had turned him into a floor mop, what would have become of him? Chiku curled back up into a ball beside Rudra and closed his eyes. Once again, total peace returned to the household. The day after packing the astral water Leviathan into a Bisleri bottle in the courtyard, a completely quiet and lazy evening was setting over the house. It was 4:30 p.m. Rudra was sprawled across the living room sofa, mindlessly reaching into a bag of chips while watching cartoons on TV. Chiku, Azathor, sat perched at the corner of the sofa, eyes closed, proudly grooming his whiskers like a regal monarch. Ting-tong. The main doorbell rang. Mom called out from the kitchen, Rudra. See who's at the door. I just made fresh, piping hot samosas, go open the gate. Rudra let out a long, weary yawn. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Minor event triggered, an unannounced visitor. Current status, resting on the couch. Action recommended, ignore the bell until someone else opens it. Before Rudra could even execute his strategy of ignoring it, Viper, the S-rank assassin leader, had already shadow-stepped over and initiated the door-opening protocol. Click. The door swung open, revealing a bizarre figure standing outside. He wore a long black trench coat, a dark hat pulled low, and his eyes glowed a vibrant neon blue. A heavy gravitational pull radiated from his body, causing nearby garden plants to bend toward him. This was no ordinary man. This was Cosmic Emperor Malachor, the sovereign of black holes. Stepping inside, Malachor bellowed in a deep, echoing voice. Mwahahaha. So this is the place where Azathor the World Eater is being held captive. I have arrived to destroy this entire solar system and set Azathor free. Chiku opened a single eye from his spot on the sofa. Glancing at Malachor, he casually turned his head away. Chiku's internal thoughts, oh no? Why did this idiot Malachor show up here? I was just about to enjoy some fresh samosas. If this guy ruins Mom's good mood, both of our existences will be wiped out. The tea ceremonial interruption. Mom emerged from the kitchen carrying a tray of steaming tea and freshly fried samosas. She spotted Malachor, who was actively charging a mini black hole in the palm of his hand. Completely ignoring the crackling black hole, Mom offered a sweet, hospitable smile. Oh, wonderful. We have a guest today. Mom placed the tray on the center table. Dear, are you an old friend of Ajit's, Dad? Come in, sit down. Have some hot tea and samosas. Malachor froze in shock. The dark spark sputtering from his black hole abruptly fizzled out. What? A guest? Do you even know who I am? I am about to collapse this entire solar system. Oh, son, sit down first. Mom grabbed Malachor by the shoulder and forcibly guided him down onto the sofa. Boom. The moment Mom's gentle touch made contact, the galactic dark energy surrounding Malachor's entire body was instantly neutralized. His glowing eyes returned to normal, and the menacing aura surrounding his trench coat faded into nothingness. Cold sweat broke out across Malachor's forehead. My supreme dark energy barrier collapsed from a single touch by a middle-aged woman? Dad's quantum sugar adjustment. Dad walked down from the terrace, holding his quantum screwdriver. Ah, we have a guest? Dad looked at Malachor and sat down beside him. Brother, you have a bit of space dust on your coat. Hold still, let me fix that up for you. Dad tapped Malachor's trench coat with his screwdriver. Dad's system, DIY God of Creation. Skill activated, nanotech fabric refinement *******. Glitch. BZZZZT. Malachor's 10,000-year-old armored space trench coat instantly melted down, reassembling itself into a humble, comfortable khadi kurta pajama. There you go. Dad smiled warmly. No cold drafts will hit you now, this kurta is extremely cozy. Malachor's eyes nearly popped out of his sockets. My cosmic armor, turned into a kurta? Mom placed a teacup in front of Malachor. Is the sugar fine, dear? With trembling hands, Malachor raised the teacup and took a small sip. Slurp. Notification, cosmic impact detected. Item consumed, Mom's special cardamom tea. Effect, completely purifies all evil intentions in the user's soul. The moment the tea touched his throat, emotional tears welled up in Malachor's eyes. Tea, this is on another level. Such flavor. I haven't tasted anything like this in the entire multiverse. This isn't tea. This is absolute soul peace. Malakar sobbed openly. Riya's blackmail and Rudra's final decision. Riya held up her phone from the balcony. Sister's system, gossip and whispers oracle. Hey there, black hole uncle, Riya giggled. You strut around as a cosmic emperor, but I know you haven't paid your multiverse electricity bill for 6 straight weeks. Should I drop your coordinates to their enforcement team right now? Malakar nearly choked on his samosa. And no. Please don't tell them. They'll cut off my home planet's power grid. Viper stepped up from behind, placing a firm, reassuring hand on Malakar's shoulder. Then eat your samosa in peace and keep quiet. Chiku, Azathor, patted over to Malakar, gently nuzzling his head against his leg. Just eat the samosa quietly and leave, or else these people will pack you into a Bisleri bottle too. Rudra opened his eyes from the sofa, let out a long yawn, and slid the bag of chips toward Malakar. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Current task, keep the noise down during evening cartoon time. Action taken, shared a chip with the Emperor. Buff triggered, guest hospitality, turns any hostility into ultimate loyalty. Here, have a chip, Rudra mumbled lazily. And don't turn up the TV volume, I'm watching cartoons. Malakar took a chip, and his eyes sparkled. It clicked in his mind, Azathor wasn't a prisoner here at all. This house was the safest, most ultimate haven in the entire multiverse. I am now a new house guest in this household. Malakar declared happily, settling down beside Rudra to watch cartoons in silence. Evening peace. Mom smiled warmly as she set the dishes in the sink. Well, isn't our new guest such a polite and lovely young man? Rudra pulled his blanket back over his head and drifted off to sleep, while Chiku and Cosmic Emperor Malakar sat comfortably on the sofa, enjoying tea and samosas together. Yet another wandering villain of Season 2 had officially become a lazy member of this household. 2 days after Cosmic Emperor Malakar learned to comfortably sit in a humble kadikurta and enjoy tea and samosas at home, a brand new kind of horror descended upon the household. It was the peak of summer, and the temperature was scorching at 42 degrees Celsius. It was 2 p.m. Rudra was sprawled on the living room sofa, wrapped in a blanket under the icy blast of the AC. Chiku, Azathor, was lying flat on his belly on the cool floor right under the AC unit, soaking in the chilled air. Click. Bzzzt. Suddenly, the AC shuddered and shut off. The ceiling fan slowed down, spinning to a complete halt. The TV screen flickered into pitch blackness. Power cut. Aya. Rudra immediately slapped a pillow over his face as the oppressive heat rushed in. It's so hot, why did the power have to go out? Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Extreme hazard detected, the summer power outage. Current temperature, rising rapidly. Penalty, sleep quality dropped to -500%. Overheating risk. Chiku let out an irritated meow grrr. His purple fur was growing sticky from the heat. He was convinced some rival god had destroyed Earth's power grid. The electricity bill shock. Mom emerged from the kitchen waving a manual hand fan. In her other hand, she clutched a bright pink paper envelope that the postman had just delivered. A jeet. Mom bellowed to the entire house as if World War III had just broken out. Everyone get over here right now. Dad, Riya, Viper, and Malakar came running into the living room. Mom slammed the pink envelope onto the center table. Look at this. This month's electricity bill. Indian rupee 150,000, 1,50,000 rupees. What? Dad's eyes nearly popped out of his sockets. That much? We only used the AC and the quantum screwdriver. Mom pointed her rolling pin straight at Dad. That antimatter thermal core stove of yours and your hypersonic AC run day and night. Until this bill is paid, I am not letting anyone turn on the AC or the cooler. Everyone can use hand fans. Malakar, the Cosmic Emperor, put on an innocent face. And madam, should I power the fan with a tiny bit of my black hole energy? Quiet. Mom snapped. The electricity department will read the meter and double the bill. Dad's solar grid fix and the electricity inspector. Dad pulled out his quantum screwdriver. Hold on. I'll build a god-tier quantum solar panel on the terrace out of some old scrap. Then we won't have to pay a single rupee to the electricity department. Dad's system, DIY God of Creation. Skill activated, infinite solar conversion ********. Dad rushed up to the terrace. He grabbed an old aluminum plate, a broken mirror, and 2 plastic bottles, tapping them with his screwdriver. Glitch. Bzzzt. In 1 second, a glowing golden solar array materialized on the terrace, absorbing the solar energy of the entire solar system. VRRRRRRRRRRR. Power instantly restored inside the house. The AC started blasting freezing air at -5 degrees Celsius. The LED lights glowed so brightly that the entire street illuminated. However, Dad made a small mistake. His solar array was so powerful that it accidentally sucked up the entire electrical power of District 4 and funneled it straight into the house. The entire city suffered a blackout, while Rudra's house shone brightly like the sun. The corrupt inspector's raid. 15 minutes later, a government jeep screeched to a halt outside the gate. Senior Electricity Inspector Rakesh Sharma stepped out alongside 4 linemen, wielding heavy meter testing devices. Mwahaha. Inspector Rakesh banged his baton loudly against the gate. The entire city is out of power, and your house is blasting AC. You are committing illegal power theft. That's a 50 Indian rupees lakh fine and jail time right now. Viper and his 50 assassins immediately entered stealth mode, placing tactical daggers behind the linemen's necks. Don't you dare touch Chiku-sama's AC. Inspector Rakesh shot a threatening look. Pay me a bribe, or I'll cut your connection right here. Mom stepped to the front door, her face turning icy cold. Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. Skill activated, meter reader reprimand asterisk 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 asterisk. Hey, you corrupt inspector. Mom snatched the baton from Inspector Rakesh's hands and snapped it into 2 pieces. Snap. You dare demand a bribe from us? Have you seen the solar panels on my balcony? We generate our own power. Inspector Rakesh stumbled back in fear. My wooden baton, snapped in 1 second? Riya held up her phone from the balcony. Sister's system, gossip and whispers oracle. Hey there, Inspector Uncle, Riya giggled. Didn't you pull off a 50 Indian rupees lakh fake meter scam last year? Should I email your sting operation video to the Anti-Corruption Bureau right now? Cold sweat poured down Inspector Rakesh's face. How do you have that video? Rudra's chill power surge. Malakar looked at the inspector and rolled up the sleeves of his kadikurta. Should I throw him into a black hole? Chiku meowed in agreement, throw him in. He ruined my mood in this heat. Rudra, let out a long yawn from the sofa. I was actually feeling cold because the AC was set to -5 degrees Celsius, and this inspector shouting outside was ruining my sleep cycle. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Current task, lower the AC temperature and restore peace. Action taken, tap the remote control. Buff triggered, absolute grid equilibrium, balances energy grids and erases corrupt threats. I pointed the remote toward the inspector and pressed the red button. Glitch. BZZZZT. An invisible pulse surged from the Terra solar panel. The electricity across District 4 was instantly restored. All meters across District 4 returned to normal, and all of Inspector Rakesh's fake fine notices and billing papers transformed into scrap paper in a fraction of a second. Inspector Rakesh looked down at his hands, finding only a bunch of useless scrap paper. It clicked in his mind that the people in this house weren't ordinary citizens, they were the grid masters of the entire universe. Forgive me. Inspector Rakesh cried out in sheer terror, scrambling into his jeep and driving away at the speed of light. Afternoon freeze. Peace settled over the house once more. The cool breeze from the AC circulated softly. Dad dialed down the solar panel setting slightly. Well, looks like our electricity bill will be 0 from now on. Mom brought out cold bowls of ice cream for everyone. Malakar and Chiku sat together on the sofa, happily enjoying their ice cream. Rudra pulled his blanket back over his head, nestled into a comfortable spot on the sofa, and mumbled softly. Peaceful sleep at last. Chiku let out a satisfied meow in agreement, and the entire family relaxed comfortably in the chilly AC breeze amidst the scorching summer afternoon. The heat in District 4 had barely died down when, on Sunday morning, a new and exceptionally irritating threat arrived right at the front door. Everyone in the house was sitting peacefully in the living room. Rudra was bundled up in his blanket on the sofa, preparing for a long sleep. Chiku, Azathor, sat beside him, cleaning his face with a paw, while Cosmic Emperor Malakar, now proudly wearing his kadikurta, took slow sips of tea while reading the morning newspaper. Bang! 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 Someone was aggressively pounding on the main gate. Viper Shadow stepped over and opened the door. Standing outside was the most ridiculously strict and unpleasant Resident Welfare Association, RWA, president in the entire society, Rameshwar Gupta, flanked by 2 of his henchmen, holding a official clipboard. So this is District 4's most disciplined household? Uncle Gupta sneered, barging his head through the doorway. Gee, where are you? Dad walked out holding his quantum screwdriver. Yes, Guptaji? What happened? Why so much anger first thing in the morning? Uncle Gupta adjusted his spectacles on his nose and declared in an insufferably arrogant tone. What happened? Your household has committed 3 separate violations. That butler of yours dressed in all black, Viper, keeps twirling tactical daggers in the courtyard. That solar panel on your terrace is so bright it reflects straight into my bedroom. And you have an army of stray dogs, Kalu and gang, alongside this weird purple pet, Chiku, living here without official society permission. The moment Chiku heard the phrase, weird purple pet, his ears shot straight up. Crimson rage flashed in his eyes. Chiku's system warning, this pathetic, ordinary mortal, calling the absolute overlord of 10,000 galaxies a weird pet? I will cast him into a black hole. The fine and the threat. Uncle Gupta whipped out a pen and began scribbling on his notepad. There is an emergency meeting at the society main hall at 5 p.m. today. Either you pay a 1 Indian rupee lakh fine, or we cut off your water and electricity connections and evict you from the society. Mom marched out from the kitchen brandishing her rolling pin, her expression turning dead cold. Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. Skill activated, resident association suppression *******. Hey, Gupta. Mom pointed her rolling pin straight at his chest. You dare talk about cutting off our water? How about the 5 Indian rupees lakhs from the society maintenance fund you embezzled last year to buy your son a new car? Uncle Gupta stumbled back in sheer terror. My personal matters are none of your concern. Be at the meeting at 5 p.m. or else. Uncle Gupta and his henchmen turned tail and scrambled away as fast as their legs could carry them. 5 p.m., the Society Hall confrontation. At 5 p.m., the entire neighborhood had gathered in the District 4 Community Hall. Uncle Gupta stood at the stage podium, gripping the microphone. Friends. Uncle Gupta blared through the mic. Ajitji's family is breaking all our society rules. They harbor illegal personnel, dangerous hounds, and bizarre creatures. Such a family should be evicted immediately. Murmurs echoed through the crowded hall. Mom, Dad, Riya, Viper, Malakar, and Rudra, who was wearing a sleep mask, half asleep, sat in the front row. Chiku was curled up comfortably in Rudra's lap. Malakar glared at Uncle Gupta and rolled up his khadi kurta sleeves. Madam, shall I banish this man with the microphone into the cosmic void? Mom held up a hand. No, sit quietly. Let Riya do her work first. Riya pulled out her phone and wirelessly tapped into the massive LED projector set up on stage. Sisters System, Gossip and Whispers Oracle. Skill activated, public scandal broadcast ********. Boom. Uncle Gupta's secret Swiss bank accounts, fake maintenance fund receipts, and his most embarrassing private WhatsApp group chats erupted onto the giant screen for the entire community to see. What? The whole society gasped in absolute shock. Gupta is a thief. He used our water maintenance money to build his private farmhouse, people began shouting. Cold sweat poured down Uncle Gupta's face. This is all fake. An unauthorized data breach. Dad's upgrade and Rudra's final yawn. Dad pulled his quantum screwdriver from his pocket and gave the stage podium a quick tap. Dad's system, DIY God of Creation. Skill activated, Truth Serum Microphone *********. Glitch. BZZZZT. A quantum resonance wave surged through the microphone. No matter how hard Uncle Gupta tried to lie, his mouth could only blurt out his deepest, dirtiest secrets. I even stole money from the funds meant for the society doormats. I am the biggest thief in the neighborhood. Uncle Gupta blurted out uncontrollably. He tried slapping his hands over his mouth, but the truth just kept spilling out. Rudra pushed up his sleep mask, let out a long, weary yawn, and tapped his slipper against the floor. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Current task, end this noisy meeting so I can go home and sleep. Action taken, tapped the floor with slipper. Buff triggered, Absolute Democracy Overthrow, changes the leadership instantly. It's way too noisy in here, Rudra mumbled softly. Elect a new president and let's go home. Glitch. BZZZZT. Instantly, every single resident in the hall raised their hands in unison, impeaching Uncle Gupta on the spot and unanimously declaring Mom as the new society president. Long live Mrs. Ajit. All hail our new president. Wild applause and cheers erupted throughout the hall. Uncle Gupta collapsed to the floor in tears as residents dragged him away to hand him over to the police. The new president's rule. Mom stepped up to the microphone and announced her very first executive decree. Starting today, no residents' water or electricity will ever be cut in District 4. And anyone who dares disturb kids sleeping past 10 a.m. will be permanently banished from this society. All the kids in the neighborhood burst into ecstatic cheers. Rudra smiled, pulled his sleep mask back down, and walked out to sleep peacefully in Dad's car. Chiku let out a proud meow in approval, another idiot handled. Now let's go home and get evening milk. Mom was now officially the supreme ruler of District 4. After Mom became the society president, District 4 took on a whole new level of vibrant energy. But becoming president also meant household responsibilities doubled. With the festive season just around the corner, Mom, in her official capacity as president, decided to organize a grand Mithai and festival sweets event for the entire neighborhood. At 9 a.m. sharp, Mom lined everyone up in the living room. Listen up, everyone. Mom declared, holding her rolling pin like a drill sergeant's baton. This evening, we need to make rasgullas, kaju katli, and gulab jamuns for all 500 residents in our society. If the sweets fall short by even a single piece, my reputation as president will be ruined. Dad pulled his quantum screwdriver from his pocket. Hold on, let me attach a thermal amplification core to the bottom of the large cooking pot. 10,000 rasgullas will boil in 2 minutes flat. Viper and his 50 assassins immediately put on aprons, measuring sugar bags with subatomic precision like a team of elite halwais. Malakar, the cosmic emperor, now comfortably dressed in his khadi kurta, put on reading glasses and began scanning the sugar syrup's temperature. Madam, the viscosity index of the syrup is currently at an S-rank level. Rudra was curled up in his blanket on the sofa with his eyes closed. Chiku, Azathor, sat near his head, staring longingly at a small piece of Kaju Katli while licking his chops. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Festive quest triggered, the ultimate sweet tooth. Current status, napping during festival preparations. Risk factor, being dragged into kneading dough. The intergalactic sweet merchant appears. Boom. Suddenly, a glowing golden UFO descended from the sky, landing right in the courtyard. Out stepped a four-armed alien merchant, Lord Sugarcore, the intergalactic sweet overlord, accompanied by his 50 cyber Halwai assistants. In his hands, he wielded a galaxy-destroying sugar beam cannon. Mwahahaha. Lord Sugarcore bellowed in a booming voice. The multiverse system alerted me that the highest level of sweet energy on Earth is being generated right here. I, the absolute ruler of sugar, have come to absorb all your sweet recipes. Lord Sugarcore fired a test shot from his sugar beam cannon. Bzzzt. A cheap plastic chair in the courtyard instantly transmuted into a 100% pure sugar sculpture. Chiku peeked over the balcony, his crimson eyes flashing with anger. Chiku's system analysis, this pathetic alien, interrupting my Kaju Katli time. I'll chew all his cyber Halwais to pieces. Chiku let out a meow grrr and prepared to leap from the balcony, but Mom scooped him up midair into her arms. Oh, Chiku, don't go down there. You might get hot syrup on your paws. Mom said sweetly. The Halwai showdown. Mom glared at Lord Sugarcore, her face showing zero fear. Hey, you four-armed alien. Mom called out, holding a large frying ladle in the courtyard. You came here to steal our sweets? Have you ever even tasted pure Kaju Katli made in authentic desi ghee before trying to absorb our rascallas? Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. Skill activated, slipper sugar crush strike ********. Mom charged her slipper with an aura of desi ghee and crushed cardamom, hurling it straight at Lord Sugarcore's sugar cannon. Thwack boom. The high-tech cannon, worth 100 billion space coins, melted in a single second, morphing into a humble plastic Jalabai squeeze bottle. What? Lord Sugarcore gasped in shock. My galaxy-destroying cannon, turned into a Jalabai bottle? Dad tapped Lord Sugarcore's 50 cyber Halwai assistants with his screwdriver. Dad's system, DIY God of Creation. Skill activated, Kitchen Automation Protocol ********. Glitch. Bzzzt. All 50 cyber Halwais were instantly reprogrammed into Mom's subordinate kitchen staff. They automatically began packing sweets at a staggering speed of 1,000 rascallas per second. There you go. Dad said casually. Now your robots are working for our society's event. Riya's scandal and Rudra's final touch. Riya held up her phone from the balcony. Sister's system, Gossip and Whispers Oracle. Hey there, sugar uncle, Riya giggled. You parade around as the king of the multiverse sweet market, but I know 90% of your sweets are mixed with synthetic chemicals. Should I tweet your lab report to the Multiverse Food Safety Authority right now? Cold sweat poured from all four of Lord Sugarcore's hands. And no. Please don't tell them. They'll revoke my license. Rudra, let out a long yawn from the sofa. The sweet aroma floating through the house was making it difficult to fall back asleep. Notification, Procrastination Overlord System. Current task, finish the sweet preparation so the noise stops. Action taken, dropped a single cardamom pod into the main pot. Buff triggered, Divine Nectar Infusion, transforms any standard sweet into an ambrosia of the gods. I casually tossed a single cardamom pod into the massive cooking pot sitting in the courtyard. Boom. A radiant golden sweet aroma billowed across all of District 4, causing even the clouds in the sky to rain down sweet drops. Lord Sugarcore tasted just a single drop of that syrup, and fell to his knees before Mom in tears. This is on another level. A flavor like this. I haven't seen in 10,000 galaxies. This isn't just sweet. This is absolute enlightenment. I surrender. From today on, I am ready to work as your delivery boy. Festive peace restored. At 6 p.m., the grand sweet event kicked off at the Society Hall. When all 500 residents tasted the Kaju Katli and Gulab Jammuns infused with Mom's culinary authority and Rudra's divine touch, tears of joy filled their eyes. Long live Mrs. President. All hail Rudra. Loud cheers and applause echoed throughout the hall. Lord Sugarcore, now wearing a Kadi Kurta and serving as the event's delivery boy, handed out plates to everyone, while Chiku, Azathor, sat perched on his shoulder, happily munching on Kaju Katli. Rudra found a cozy sofa in a quiet corner, pulled his blanket over his face, and smiled softly. Phew, another festival handled in peace. Chiku let out a happy meow, and the entire family celebrated the festive season together with plates full of heavenly sweets. After the festive sweet event came to an end, a completely calm and relaxed atmosphere finally settled over the house. The evening in District 4 was beautiful. Out in the backyard, Dad had used his quantum screwdriver to transform a pile of scrap metal into a god-tier barbecue grill. Viper and his 50 elite assassins were acting like professional chefs, carefully roasting paneer tikka and skewers. Mom and Riya sat on garden chairs, casually discussing new bylaws for the society. Malachar, sovereign of black holes, and Lord Sugarcore, intergalactic sweet overlord, both dressed in comfortable khadi kurtas, were engaged in a friendly game of carom. And Rudra? Rudra was snuggled up in a blanket on the cushioned recliner sofa in the living room, getting ready for a deep sleep. Chiku, Azathor, was curled up like a ball near his feet. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Current task, achieve 100% sleep cycle perfection. Action taken, tucked blanket under the chin. Buff triggered, absolute peace domain, cosmic reality aligns itself to maintain quietness. Craisis. Suddenly, the sky above the entire Earth transformed into a swirling ring of dark gold and crimson in a fraction of a second. An imperial warning flashed across every smartphone, system UI, and alien vessel across the world. Multiverse emergency, the emperor of all realities. Class, omnipresent God King invasion. The supreme reality emperor, Xerxes, has arrived. The sky tore wide open. A colossal, 5,000-meter-tall glowing golden citadel descended from the heavens. Standing atop the citadel was Supreme Reality Emperor Xerxes, the very first and most powerful entity in the entire multiverse. Mwahaha. The multiverse system alerted me that all my top-tier commanders, Azathor, Craven, Malachar, and Sugarcore, are living as household pets and servants in a tiny house on this pathetic planet. Emperor Xerxes' voice sent violent cosmic shockwaves across entire continents. Today, I shall erase this entire planet and this family from the history of the multiverse. Xerxes declared, raising his realm-erasing sword high into the air. The domestic defenses activate. Xerxes swung his giant sword down toward our house. Swoosh. Mom looked up from the garden, holding a pair of kitchen tongs and her rolling pin. Hey, you demon with the golden crown. Mom yelled. Watch where you swing that sword. We are roasting paneer tikka in my garden, don't go flying sparks all over my food. Mom's system, goddess of domestic warfare. Skill activated, ultimate barbecue chimta shield ********. Mom gave a simple wave of her kitchen tongs toward the sky. Boom. The moment Xerxes' realm-erasing sword reached within a 100-meter radius of the house, it slammed into an invisible wave from Mom's tongs, instantly melting into steel barbecue skewers that clattered onto the ground. What? Emperor Xerxes' giant golden eyes widened in sheer disbelief. My multiverse-erasing weapon, melted by a pair of cooking tongs? Dad stepped out onto the terrace, waving his screwdriver in the air. Dad's system, DIY God of Creation. Skill activated, sky canopy and lighting adjustment **********. Hey brother, the weather was so nice this evening. You went and ruined our entire barbecue lighting by turning the sky red and gold. Dad tapped his screwdriver against the air. Clink. In a microsecond, the crimson sky repainted itself back into a tranquil sunset orange. Xerxes' 5,000-meter citadel transformed into a cute floating paper lantern drifting harmlessly in the breeze. Am I Supreme Citadel, turned into a floating lantern? Xerxes began to tremble in utter terror. Rhea held up her phone from the balcony. Sister's system, gossip and whispers oracle. Hey there, multiverse emperor uncle, Rhea giggled. Stop pretending to be a big bad emperor. I know you took out a 100 trillion cosmic credit loan from the multiverse central bank and you're about to be declared a defaulter. Xerxes' face turned a sickly pale yellow. That secret audit data was locked under the 10th encryption layer of the master system. How did you access that? Rudra's final yawn and the season finale piece. Chiku, Azathor, walked out onto the balcony, looked at Xerxes, and let out a calm meow. Translation, listen, Emperor, come down quietly and have some paneer tikka, or else you'll be getting a taste of Mom's rolling pin. Rudra, opened my eyes from the recliner sofa. Slinging the blanket over my shoulder with a long, weary yawn, I slipped into my flip-flops and walked out onto the balcony. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Current task, finish the season 2 finale invasion so dinner can be served. Action taken, pointed at the Supreme Emperor and flicked my wrist. Buff triggered, absolute retirement, forces any supreme entity into instant chill mode. Hey, Xerxes, I said in a lazy, quiet voice. It's Sunday evening. After a long week, we finally got time to enjoy a peaceful barbecue. Don't ruin my mood by screaming in the sky. I looked up at Xerxes and gave a simple flick of my wrist. Glitch. BZZZZT. The 5,000-meter-tall body of Supreme Emperor Xerxes instantly began to shrink. His cosmic golden aura extinguished, and as he fell from the sky, he transformed into a humble assistant dressed in a simple khadi kurta. Plop! Xerxes landed right in our garden. Malachar walked over and slid a carom striker into Xerxes' hand. Come on, Emperor sir, we were missing a fourth player. Play a game of carom with us. Xerxes, the absolute ruler of the entire multiverse, frantically gripped the striker in fear and blurted out, I get to take the red coin first. Notification, procrastination overlord system. Save the multiverse once again without getting up from the couch. Reward, plus 10 million EXP, title retained, lazy supreme ruler of creation. End of season 2. Gathered out in the garden, the entire family, Mom, Dad, Rhea, Rudra, Viper, Malakar, Sugarcore, Xerxes, Kalu, the dog gang leader, and Chiku, the world eater, sat together enjoying the barbecue party. No matter how many demon kings, cosmic gods, or supreme emperors invade the multiverse, as long as this family stays together under one roof, no force in existence can take away their peace and quiet sleep. Mom brought out a fresh plate of paneer tikka from the kitchen. Rudra, give Chiku some tikka and help your father set up the juice glasses. Coming, Mom. I smiled softly. No matter how overpowered my system gets, and no matter how much of a lazy overlord I become, in the end, family really is everything. Season 2 end.